Imagine pulling into a crowded parking lot after a long day. Your legs aching from old war wounds. Only to find some entitled driver blocking your reserved spot like it's their personal kingdom. That's exactly what happened to Jack Thompson, a 68-year-old Vietnam veteran. When a woman we'll call Karen decided her shopping spree was more important than his right to park. Oh. The nerve. How could someone be so blind to basic decency? Jack sighed deeply, the familiar twinge in his knee reminding him of that rainy night in Annam when shrapnel changed his life forever. The smell of exhaust fumes mixed with the faint aroma of fresh asphalt under the midday sun, making his head throb. He had just driven from the VA hospital, his mind replaying the doctor's words about needing that knee replacement sooner than later. Parking in the disabled spot wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. But there she was. This middle-aged woman in a flashy SUV, idling right in front of the blue-painted space, her engine humming like a smug challenge. "Hey. Ma'am. This is a handicapped spot," Jack called out, his voice steady but laced with exhaustion. He leaned on his cane, the wooden handle worn smooth from years of use. Karen rolled down her window, her perfectly manicured nails tapping impatiently on the steering wheel. "I'm just waiting for my friend. It'll only be a minute. Why don't you find another spot? There are plenty over there." Her tone dripped with condescension, as if Jack's limp was some kind of exaggeration. Can you believe that? In a world full of rules meant to protect folks like him, she acted like they didn't apply to her. Jack felt a surge of frustration bubble up, his heart pounding like distant artillery fire. He took a deep breath, the air thick with tension, and tried reason. "Look. I've got the permit right here. See? Disabled veteran. I need this spot close to the store entrance." He held up the placard, its edges frayed from constant display. But Karen just scoffed, her laughter sharp and echoing across the lot like a slap. "Veteran? Pfft. Everyone's a veteran these days. Move along, old man." "I'm not budging." The bystanders started murmuring, a low hum of disapproval rippling through the crowd. One guy in a baseball cap shook his head, whispering to his wife, "That's just wrong." As minutes ticked by, Jack's patience wore thin. The sun beat down, sweat trickling down his back, amplifying the ache in his joints. He could hear the distant beep of car horns from the main road, a chaotic symphony that matched his rising anger. Why did people like her always think they were above the law? Twist of fate, little did Karen know. Jack wasn't just any veteran. Back in his day, he led a platoon through jungles thicker than this parking mess. And he wasn't about to let some suburban diva push him around. Karen, whose real name was Brenda Wilkins, a self-proclaimed busy mom with a social media feed full of inspirational quotes about kindness, decided to escalate. She hopped out of her SUV, phone in hand, filming Jack like he was the villain. "Everyone, look at this guy harassing me. I'm just picking up my dry cleaning, and he's trying to steal my spot." Her voice cracked with feigned outrage, but Jack caught the smirk playing on her lips. The crowd grew, phones popping up like mushrooms after rain, capturing every heated exchange. "Ma'am, you're the one blocking," Jack retorted, his words measured but firm. He felt a pang of humiliation, the kind that twists your gut and makes you question if fighting back is worth it. But oh, the fire in his eyes. Jack remembered his buddies from the war, guys who'd given everything for freedom. And here was this woman trampling on a simple courtesy. He pulled out his own phone, dialing the non-emergency line for the local police. "Yes. Officer. There's someone illegally occupying a disabled parking space at the Walmart lot." Karen's face turned beet red, her breaths coming in short, furious huffs. "You wouldn't dare. Do you know who I am? My husband knows the manager here." She stomped her foot, the click of her heels against the pavement like gunfire in the quiet standoff. The weight felt eternal. The air heavy with unspoken judgments. Jack leaned against his truck. The metal warm under his palm. And closed his eyes for a moment. Flashbacks hit him, the mud. The fear. The camaraderie. Sigh. Why couldn't life be simpler? A young mother pushing a stroller paused nearby. Her baby cooing softly. A stark contrast to the brewing storm. "Sir. Thank you for your service," she whispered to Jack. Her words a balm amid the chaos. Karen overheard and rolled her eyes dramatically. "Service? Please. That's no excuse to be rude." Finally. The cop arrived. Sirens silent but lights flashing in a rhythmic pulse that cut through the tension. Officer Ramirez. A no-nonsense guy with a mustache that screamed authority. Stepped out and assessed the scene. "What's going on here?" he asked. His voice booming like thunder. Karen launched into her tirade first. Gesturing wildly. "This man is bullying me. I was just waiting. And he threatened to call you." Jack stayed calm. Handing over his permit. "Officer. This is my designated spot. She's been blocking it for 15 minutes now." Ramirez checked the documents. His brow furrowing as he glanced at Karen's SUV. No permit in sight. "Ma'am. Do you have a disabled placard?" Karen stammered. "Well. No. But it's not like I'm parking permanently. Can't you just let it slide?" The officer shook his head. The disappointment evident. "Rules are rules. You're in violation." He started writing the ticket. The scratch of pen on paper a satisfying sound to Jack's ears. But Karen wasn't done, she exploded. "This is outrageous. I'll sue. You'll hear from my lawyer." Her screams echoed. Drawing more stares. The crowd's whispers turning to chuckles. Twist incoming, as Ramirez handed her the $250 fine. Karen's friend finally showed up, not from the store, but from her own imagination. Turns out, she wasn't waiting for anyone, she just didn't want to walk the extra 50 feet from a regular spot. The bystanders erupted in murmurs. One shouting, "Karma's a beast." Jack couldn't help but smile faintly. The weight lifting from his chest like a released breath. But the real kicker? While Karen ranted, her SUV, left idling without the parking brake, started rolling backward ever so slightly, bumping into a shopping cart corral with a metallic clang. Groans and gasps filled the air. Officer Ramirez called for a tow truck, deciding her behavior warranted more than a ticket. "Ma'am. Your vehicle's being impounded for obstructing. You can pick it up at the lot downtown." Karen's face drained of color. Her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. "You can't do this. I'm a taxpayer." But it was too late. The tow truck's engine roared to life. Hooks clanking as they latched onto her precious SUV. Jack watched. A mix of relief and pity washing over him. Why do people dig their own graves like this? As the truck hauled away her car, Karen stood there, defeated. The crowd dispersing with satisfied nods. Jack finally parked. The click of his door shutting a small victory. He turned to Ramirez. "Thanks, officer. Means a lot." The cop saluted lightly. "No. Thank you for your service, sir. Folks like her need a wake-up call." Jack nodded. The warmth of respect easing his pains. But the story didn't end there. Word spread like wildfire on social media, videos of the confrontation went viral, tagging Karen as the ultimate parking lot Karen. Comments flooded in, "Justice served. Respect our veterans." Her online persona crumbled, friends unfollowed. Her husband's business got bad reviews. Twist of irony, turns out, her husband was a veteran himself, from a later war. And he was mortified. He apologized to Jack personally over coffee the next week. The steam rising from their mugs like peace offerings. I'm sorry. Man. She crossed a line. Jack forgave. But the lesson stuck. He started volunteering at the local VFW. Sharing his story to inspire others. Stand up for what's right, he'd say. His voice cracking with emotion. Even in a parking lot. Dignity matters. Sigh. Life throws curveballs. But resilience wins. In the end, Karen faced more than a fine, her ego took the biggest hit. She ended up attending anger management classes. Court-ordered after trying to contest the ticket and losing spectacularly. The judge, a fellow veteran, lectured her sternly, next time. Think before you act. Respect isn't optional. As for Jack, he parked with pride. A small American flag sticker on his bumper gleaming in the sun. What a roller coaster. Right? This tale reminds us, karma doesn't discriminate. And true strength comes from quiet resolve. In a world full of Karens. Be the Jack, protect your space. But do it with grace. And hey, next time you see a disabled spot, remember the stories behind them. They might just belong to heroes who've already fought enough battles.